Hi there, Survival Technician here, and you're a prepper or you wouldn't be watching this. And in a little way, everybody's a prepper. You don't have to be what's the phrase, a gun-toting, bunker-hugging, gold-hoarding lunatic to be a prepper. Although, hey, some of us are. The point here is that you are prepared for things that might happen to you in the future. And we have a lot of things to prepare for in our upcoming future. I hope that you're prepared enough that you think afterwards, why did I do all that preparing? I didn't need any of this. One thing that a lot of people don't think about is financial preparedness. In the preppers world, you want things that are actually worthwhile in the long term. Investments in gold and silver and tangible assets, things of that nature. But I mean, really, how many gold coins are you going to give somebody for a sandwich when you're hungry? Maybe you need to focus on smaller things that are barterable and tradable items also. So there are a lot of ways that you can prepare financially, and not all of them have to do with money. First of all, you've got to live prepared today. You have to make sure that right now you're not building extra debt and encumbrances, and you are taken care of in your daily life now. That's important because that'll help you actually manage getting a whole lot more resources put together and put back for later. But also, in our last video, we talked about building a community, and a sense of community also allows for a great deal of trade and bartering. Skills can also be bartered, just like things. So we'll get to the things in a minute, but first of all, if you're known right now as that guy who can fix cars, later on, they know a guy. They got somebody who can fix their car or their tractor or their lawnmower. When it's really hit the fan and there's not an infrastructure out there, you can be that guy. And being that guy lets you have an opportunity to get paid in things that you need. Maybe not necessarily money, but you got to eat. If you have a good skill as a gardener, but produce things that have to be preserved, but you don't have the skills to preserve them, maybe you can get to those skills, or you can find somebody in your community or your area who has the skills in canning and preserving things. And for a portion of the goods, will can and preserve things for you so they last longer. So they get to barter their skills, you get to barter your vegetables, and you have these opportunities to deal with things that way. So skills are important. Being able to be that guy that people knows who can take care of things and do things that you would normally get paid for your services. The services can be bartered. Now, when I said we mentioned things, you may or may not drink, but there are people who do. So if you stock back in your supplies, whiskey and various alcohols, you have things to make tinctures, herbal tinctures, home remedies, things of that nature, and you have alcohol to barter, because people will barter for alcohol. If you don't smoke, that's great, but there are people who do, who will trade you taking care of things, mowing your lawn, dealing with stuff for a pack of cigarettes, once those are no longer available elsewhere. Right now they're very common, but we're talking about traumatic society change. So if you have the opportunity to find something out in the world that is valuable to somebody, then you keep a little bit of it extra because you might want to trade it later. I'm not saying don't invest in the gold and silver and things of that nature, because those are really good havens against just financial problems, because they don't change as drastically as the invisible money like cryptocurrency and credit and stock markets and anything like that. How much cash do you have in your pocket right now? Do you keep cash in your pocket, or do you do everything by a card? A lot of people just use a card. It works, but in the long term, how safe and viable is that if something begins to go wrong? So my point on trading is find things that can be traded. My point on finance is find things that can be worth money, things that have an intrinsic value or perceived value. Either one is just as valid in the context. So you should develop skills so that you don't need as much from other people. And those skills also allow you to provide those services to other people in trade for things that you do need. So financial security is going to be about saving back a stockpile of valuable things. Gold is a valuable thing. Silver is a valuable thing. The ability to fix an engine is a valuable thing. Don't sell yourself short by putting a category on something based on a modern definition. Okay, so money, that's greenbacks, that's credit, that's gold. What do you pay for? Those things that you pay for, things that you would find valuable and pay for, are also tradable barter commodities, and they're worthwhile. So think about that for a little bit. See what you can develop for yourself and work with your community. If you start working with your community right now and build that reputation, if anything does hit the fan, some of you would say when it does hit the fan, you're going to be known as, hey, I know a guy who can do this, or I have a neighbor who is really good sewing clothes and mine need repaired. I have a neighbor who's really good at canning. I have a neighbor who's really good at carpentry, fixes everything. I have a neighbor who can deal with plumbing and electricity. I'm an electrical engineer and an IT guy, so you know when the grid goes down, I have ways to deal with it through solar and wind and generation, and I can wire something together out of spare parts and goodies, car alternators and bicycle wheels, etc. That's just, it's a given that I have that skill set, and I will have electricity. I also have 3D printers, and I have printed in various types of plastics charging handles for semi-automatics. I have printed buffers for one of my neighbor's carbines, things of that nature. I can print a variety of gun parts, not the metal ones, but you know, those aren't the only things that make the gun work. The skills to, off the grid, keep electricity going, lights on, 3D printers going, produce parts for people, that's a sellable skill, and that's just one example. I understand how to can, because that's something that we did when I was growing up. I don't can. I don't have the facilities to it. I would not. If I had to, I'm the only man left on the world. I can go through the store, find the stuff. I can things I get from the garden. I don't want to do that. I would rather trade skills and abilities for somebody else who has that skill and ability. That's financial preparedness. So think about what you can do. I'll give you an example from my unique case. What is your unique case? What can you do? How can you make it work for you? Ask the question. That's how you stay financially prepared. So give it a thought. Like and follow for more, and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. Press all the little buttons. Love you all. Take care. Be safe.